We are back. ABJ Podcast once again, episode 12. This will be the final episode of 2022. I want to get a little self reflective real quick before I bring my guests. And I want to thank you all so much for all the support that's been coming this month, the last couple months with this podcast, with this new channel, with everything. Starting over was terrifying. Doing something you were really passionate about and doing 5 shows for 4 years, some of those shows being weekly, every single week, doing 5 a day, 5 a week was super stressful, super hard on me, but they were all great lessons to be learned. Um, but yeah, restarting over, bringing in a new brand and really getting this going, has been amazing. We're really close to that 400 mark over on YouTube, but even if I don't hit it, it's not a huge deal because in a 3 month span, we hit 370 some subscribers, which has far surpassed anything I did with my other channels in a 4 year gap. So the fact that you all jumped in and showed that support and buying t-shirts and subscribing to the Patreons and stuff means the absolute world to me. And we're gonna hit this ground running hard in 2022. Tons of neat stuff coming. I cannot wait to share it all with you and have some fun. Um, with that being said, there's going to be a new thing coming next year. If everyone that they're big fans of the ABJ merchandise, right? The I Heart ABJ is going over heavy. That logo is not going anywhere, but we're going to bring a new 2023 version of that. Here it is right here. Very simple, very easy. So if you're interested, let me know. And we're going to start a little bit of a collection starting in 2023. It's going to be t-shirts. I think I'm just going to do t-shirts and stickers on the websites and get some stickers made up to hand out. But we're going to start off this week, the end of this week, 2023, with the brand new logo to start this collection for the holidays. The year of ABJ 2023, the year of ABJ merchandise, going to be dropping very soon. So if you're interested, make sure you go over and check out those merch pages and subscribe. Do all that fun stuff. Make sure you check below for the ABJ podcast links. Follow on all social media. Let's start leaving reviews though. So if you're listening on the audio, if you're listening on Facebook, YouTube, anywhere, go to on the Facebook page, go and hit a review. Hit a review up. Leave one, and I'll start reading them on the podcast. And even if you're commenting, right, review at the end and just write what you thought of the episode, and we'll start putting them in the episode. I'm really excited for this year. So much cool things planned. One last little bit of housekeeping before I bring my guests in. I'm sorry this one's going a little long, but I have booked 2 guests every single Tuesday for the entire month of January. So you're going to get one in the morning, afternoon, and then you're going to get one at night. And that's going to be the trend. I don't know if it's going to be like that forever, but we're going to hit 2023 hard. And I'm going to announce right now our first 2 guests of 2023. And they're 2 people who were instrumental in my time at the sanctuary, helping me in this journey, being super supportive, giving me great feedback. The first one is going to be the thespian himself, J.S. Hawthorne. If you do not know about J.S. Hawthorne, you are crazy. Please look more into this guy. But that's going to be the first guest of the new year, followed by someone who's doing big things. Started his own little wrestling promotion, been killing it all over the Northeast PA area with Smash Master Wrestling. The Mastodon Rosh will be the next guest following. So it'll be J.S. Hawthorne in the afternoon, morning, Macedon at night. So we have a lot of cool things to talk about. Tons of guests coming this year. If you want to be a guest, like I said, the link below, first thing you're going to see is sign up to be a guest. Let's get it done. Let's get more people on the show for next month. It's going to be a lot of fun. And Harley says, do not stress yourself out. I won't. I love doing these conversations. We're going to grind. We're going to hit this ground running hard. We're going to be at 50 episodes quick. It's going to come. It's going to come quick, and I'm super excited for it. But without further ado, let's bring in the last guest of 2022. This can never happen again. It's his title forever. He will be undefeated. Nolan Pierce.
Oh, the magnum opus.
There it is, man.
How's it going?
It is going great. I am digging this 70s vibe you got going on. You got a fluffy
Yeah.
pillow. You got like the Brady Bunch curtains. This is
Yeah.
beautiful.
I'm back at home. It's for the holidays. Not in my apartment where I got like the Gavin picture behind me. We
Yeah,
make do.
well, I have the Gavin trading card.
Oh, I got a Gavin card for Christmas as well.
Yeah. Love that. I
Gotta
love
love
that
him.
kid. But
Love him and his dad. They're great.
super supportive of the independent scene as well as a lot of people in the chat here. So we have the SWAGM hanging out saying, "What's up, brother?" Harley in this chat, she's always here. And Tantalizing Tony saying, "Make sure you're over on the YouTube side hitting those likes. If you are watching on
Definitely.
Facebook and you haven't done so already, please head over and subscribe on that YouTube. Let's try to hit 380 by the end of the night. That'd be dope, right?
That would
But
be very dope.
let's have some fun here, Nolan. Let's get into it. First off, how was your 2022?
It was 2022 was crazy because I'm sure you've seen me for years. I've been helping training just for years. Walking around being an annoying little kid. Uh, and then I just got on the shows. It was 3 years in the making. Got on the shows. It was a great moment for me. And then right as stuff was kind of I was getting the ball rolling a little bit. I needed to get my appendix removed, and
Really?
now, yeah, that's where I've been the past 2 months. I've been walking around again and haven't been in the ring. But I'm good now, so 2023 is gonna be a big year. But 2022 was a great year.
You
Finally
got
got
you
through
got
that
to
gate.
showcase in front of people what you love to do.
Yeah,
Now let's rewind a little bit because like you said, you've been someone in the cut for 3 years and just biding your time, stayed patient, did everything you're supposed to be doing when you come to your grind. What are some things that you did before you even started training that you would do around a wrestling promotion to help with the show?
right. So I would do a lot of ring crew. I remember there was one show in particular I always like to mention. It was a show at the mall that we did, and I was super skinny, no muscle on me, and it was like three of us. And I was bringing these beams across the mall, all the way up the broken escalator, and I was sore. I passed out after that, and just stuff like that. I was always going up to people like Paul Bow, just saying, "What can I do to help?" I just wanted to feel like I was a part of it because I knew I had so much time before I could actually perform in front of people because I couldn't do anything. I've been training for 3 years. It's just I couldn't
Hmm.
be in front of shows. So I wanted to make sure, like, I just wanted to be a part of it. And I wanted to, like, the wrestlers in the back to feel like, hey, this kid's kind of putting in work. Whenever he does debut, I'm really happy for this kid. So that was a big thing, just help with ring crew, just whatever anybody needed. I was running, grabbing waters all the time, just anything really.
Dude, that is so. I love that you brought that up because I think a lot of people from the outside, maybe fans or outside people, see you and you make your debut and you're like, well, where did this kid come from? What did he do? Why does he have a spot on that show? And why? And I'm not saying that's what I'm sure
Yeah,
that's things that are said. People see me like, why is this podcast joke on a podcast doing commentary at a show? What people don't realize, like, before I even stepped on commentary, I was doing the same thing. Like, I don't do a lot with ring crew. I have helped here and there. No joke. That's not
yeah,
no joke. But like with production, bringing in cameras, setting up cameras, helping with
yeah,
roving, helping with edits. Like there's a lot of things that you can do in this business to really get to where you need to be. So I didn't even know commentary was something I wanted to do, but I did backstage interviews. I helped with
yeah,
production. I would carry equipment in and just help film things. And it led to where you are now. And you kind of pay those dues and you kind of earn the respect of everybody around you by doing everything to get those steps to get where you need to be. I think a lot of people they see their goal but don't realize that their goal may maybe doing a couple hip
yeah,
hops before you get there. You know what I mean? Like I want to wrestle, but I'm gonna have to
yeah,
carry a ring for 6 months. I want to
yeah,
wrestle, but I may have to drive people back and forth to the airport. I want
yep,
to wrestle, but I might have to sell 50/50s this show. You know what I mean? Like you just do
yeah,
what needs to be done to make sure the show flows, makes money, and stays profitable, so the show stays around. And they're very
mm-hmm.
valuable things to do. And now you're a wrestler, and hopefully
Yep.
somebody else sees your work ethic and tries to fill those shoes once again.
Yeah, no, it's so important, right? It's a cycle, you see people come in and then they take that role, and then you watch you become a wrestler, then somebody else takes that role, and then it's a cycle that's been going on for like you know 30
Just
plus years,
beginning of wrestling,
um
baby. Yep.
yeah, and it's super important because you see a lot of people come into wrestling, they hear about that grind, that working towards becoming a wrestler, commentary, anything. and then kind of say, you know what, maybe this isn't for me. I don't really care for this. I don't really like driving 4 hours and lifting some stuff and driving 4 hours back home and not doing anything. And very understandable, you know. I can't fault you for not enjoying that, but there's something about it you gotta love, and
No
it's a
one
nice
became
cycle
world
to see.
champion at without putting a little bit of work in. Never happened.
Oh no,
No one
oh
ever walked in the
absolutely not.
door and said, "Oh, you know what? We like you because you have a pretty face, great red hair, and a
Yeah.
nose ring. Here's the world champion." No one.
That would be nice, though. I mean, look, if somebody wants to do that, I'm not gonna complain. But
Yeah.
I've put the work in. It's been a fun cycle so far, and
So
I'm
how
only
how
18.
old are, I was gonna say 18 years old. I was good. I was you
Yeah.
beat me to it. You're a young
Mhm.
pup in this game, man. And like I
Yeah.
said, 3 years and now you're 18 and you're finally getting those things. But and a lot not a lot of 18-year-olds get to debut in a company at 18 years old.
No.
But because you're 3 years of doing that work and being that kid, that's why you got a match at 18 years old in 2022 at PPW, because
Yeah.
people seen that work. People seen what you're willing to do for a company. And I commend you for that, man.
Yeah. Thank you.
That's exactly what you're supposed to do.
Yeah. It was like right. It was July. My birthday's in June, so in July I got on the show. Like people like Anthony, TJ, Paul Bow, like they get it, and they saw me for so long. They saw me grow up. Like it's similar for Ian, like Anthony's son, who I'm now watching kind of grow up as he watched me grow up to become an 18-year-old. Now he's 15, growing up, and it's such a great moment, and I always find it funny because like I always kind of get grouped in with other people where it's like, oh, he's so young, and they'll put me with other people, and those other people are young. They're like, but they're like 24 and stuff, and I'm like, am I like a premature like baby or something, like
Yeah. You
I
don't
feel like I'm
carry
super
yourself
young.
like an 18-year-old. You have a good head on your shoulders. You're very laser focused, and not a lot of 18-year-olds have the mindset you have, especially in this business. You know what I mean? And kind of going back, you ever have that? And I said this does not apply to you, right? But sometimes in this business, if you put that work in on the extra end, like the ring crew and flyer in and everything like that, there's people who get titles put on them, and they're not even that good. But because
Yeah,
they put the work in to help the company, that happens
yeah,
all the time. That happens on TV. If you're a good hands get rewarded. You know what I
oh yeah.
mean? And then you put talent on top of that, like you have, boy, you're gonna be something in the future, brother.
Hey, thank you. I hope so. I it I love this. I love this business way too much. It's an addiction for me at this point. All I watch is wrestling. All I consume is wrestling. All I think about is wrestling. And sometimes it's a little bit of a downfall, but I love it so much. I'm gonna. This is all I want, and I'm gonna keep grinding for it. It's a journey. I've These past 2 months of recovering from appendicitis have been hell because I haven't been able to do anything. I didn't let myself watch wrestling because I just wanted to be active again, but we're back now. We're training again, so it's nice.
Who I kind of jumping around a little bit my question just because I see something in you and I want to ask the question and then kind of pose it to you unless you say it before I do. But
Yeah.
who are some people right now that you're looking at on the scene who inspire you? Or that you say like I can be in those shoes, or there's someone like they're kind of setting a blueprint that I'd like to follow.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who like on the independent scene who I'm really big fans of, like Action Andretti. I'm so happy for him. He's such a good guy, and just seeing all that made me so happy.
Dude, I
I'm
I
not
I
sure
was
if you.
live on Tantalizing Tony when that happened, and I was like, "Bro, it went to commercial. Bro, he kicked out of a
Yeah,
code breaker. Bro, this match is getting a lot of time. Bro, the crowd's
yeah,
really into this." I'm like, "He's
yeah,
gonna beat Jericho," and they're like, "Get out of here!" And then he did it,
yeah,
and I literally threw my headphones off. I ran around this room like it was
yeah.
nuts.
I was going crazy when I saw him in the ring. Like I was like,
Yeah, it cut, and
"That's
I was like,
Action Andretti."
"That's action." I'm like, "They're in
Yeah,
Texas. Why is action in
yeah,
Texas?" And then I was like,
yeah.
"Bro, he's getting signed." Like
Oh yeah, yeah. I was watching that with like another one of my friends, and we were just going crazy because we were like,
it was such
"Oh
a
my
cool
god!"
moment. Yeah.
moments like that are like, man, like it's real. The vision's real. You can see it, and people like him who work hard, are just so talented. You see it, and we all saw it at PPW. We saw like this guy's going up, and he did already. I
Yeah.
mean, he's 24. Uh,
Yeah. That's a great answer, and that's not even the one I was fishing for. I love
yeah.
that. Thank you for that, man. But here's where I was thinking. You know who you remind me a lot of?
Who?
You remind me a lot of a Jordan Oliver.
Jordan Oliver's the man. Yeah.
Because if you look at Jordan Oliver 2 3 years ago,
Yeah.
he wasn't a big guy. He was
Yeah.
scrawny. He was athletic. And then he matured. Like, listen, it's hard putting on muscle mass at 18 years old. Your
Yeah.
metabolism's through the roof. It's hard to
Yeah.
get those gains. It's hard to do it naturally. And Jordan
Thank you.
Oliver stayed patient. He stayed in his craft. He got good at what he did, and then he kind of hit that mode where he turned into a man. You know what I mean? He started putting
Yeah.
the bulk on. This kid
Yeah.
looks amazing. Now his look matches his skill, and he is unbelievable. He reminds me
Yeah.
so much like of a new version of Shawn Michaels. Like he
Yeah.
like just everything about him. He has a great look, everything. And I
Yeah.
can see you in those steps as well, where I think like you hit that 24, 25, and then the muscle starts packing on because your body's adjusting and everything like that. I
Yeah.
I can definitely see you in those shoes and being that next Jordan Oliver.
Yeah. That was actually the second name I was gonna mention
I
because
love that. I love that.
I he, it's so funny because the current generation of wrestling, you kind of just assume that wrestlers are going to be a little bit different, like style wise. But he does so many simplistic things that I love.
Hmm.
Like he has a beautiful big boot. Like he has a great power bomb. I'm like, and he's just his charisma's off the charts. And you've seen it for a while, cause like I like just hearing he screams in the ring. Like a guy like him, I just think is so talented. And now he's getting all big, shredded right now. I saw he was just in Japan, which is a dream of mine. So it's really cool to see, and I appreciate that comparison
Yeah.
definitely.
Absolutely. So, now we're going to kind of backtrack because you know what I mean. But anyway, how did you fall in love with this pro wrestling business? What was that moment that you seen it or experienced it and you're like, this is it. This is my love.
Yeah, so I got into pro wrestling late in 2010 when I was like around kindergarten, and sorry, I hate doing that to people when I like
That's all
mention
right. That's all
dates,
right.
but like it was CM Punk who did it for me. CM Punk, and that's becoming a more common answer I notice nowadays with a lot of wrestlers.
My last guest said the same
I
exact
yeah
name.
yeah I saw that, and it was the match with John Cena that just I
Same exact
remember.
storyline, same exact match he fell in love with.
Yeah, I saw the pipe bomb. I was like, this dude is different. Like I had a bunch of friends into wrestling. They were all John Cena guys, and I was like, no, I don't like John Cena. I like CM Punk. I like the guy with the tattoos, the lip piercing. Outspoken. Not the cleanest of moves, but he's got fight. And I was up till midnight that night screaming at the TV about CM Punk. My parents bought Money in the Bank for me, so that was the moment. I decided that night I wanted to be a pro wrestler. I went into school that the year after telling people I'm gonna be a pro wrestler, and so yeah.
And you're obsessed ever since. Was pro wrestling a thing in your house? Like, did your parents enjoy it or?
Yeah, fun fact. My parents actually met at a SummerSlam 1999 watch party. So I say I had to become a wrestler. Like
That is
it was just gonna.
so. I love when this business does things like that. Like
Yeah,
that's when people are like, dude, when you watch something, you don't realize how big the landscape of what you're consuming is and how much bigger
yeah,
it is than you even can imagine. Like friendships, love, kids come
hmm
out of pro wrestling. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like
yeah,
what a cool. That's great. I love to hear
yeah.
that. You were a wrestling baby.
I was.
Did your parents know what SummerSlam it was that they met?
99, I believe. I don't know if that one had a theme to it or anything, but it was 99. Yeah,
I'm not quick with like who. If somebody in the chat probably like 99 main event was this. If you're that guy, put it in
yeah,
there. We'll have fun with it. But that is
yeah.
amazing. Who were your parents' favorites growing up?
My mom was a big Goldberg fan. She met Goldberg. She had a
Oh,
picture with him, and
yeah.
I.
So she was a WCW person. She liked her WCW as well.
Yeah. My dad's always been a big Kane fan.
Okay.
Yeah. So they're always big into them. My mom is funny enough. She really likes Jordan Oliver. She saw him at PPW a while ago. It was like he, she kind of said the comparison too, but she was like, he's just so charismatic, like just
Mm-hmm.
talking about like all these good things about him. I was like, I
Yeah.
can't agree more.
He's unreal. Him. Well, I know they're all part of that stable, but him and Griffin McCoy, man. Oh,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
Griffin McCoy is he's unbelievable.
Dude, I saw
That is
I saw you wrestled Kenta recently. That's
yeah,
crazy. That's
yeah.
big.
Quick Wikipedia search says Steve Austin champion versus Mankind versus Triple H for the WWF title was SummerSlam '99 main event. There you go.
There it is. Sounds like a banger. Sounds like a banger.
I love that. All right, man. So you're obsessed, right? You're buying all
Yeah.
the toys. You're watching every week. Were you someone who just consumed WWE, or were you always into the independent scene? Was Japan on your radar? Was Impact on your radar? Did you just consume everything, or were you kind of locked into one brand?
I actually was quick to also get into TNA when I was very like 2011, 12. I got into TNA and then I started going to independent shows. And funny enough, I'm born and raised on Long Island, New York. And there was a company, Victory Pro Wrestling, which is still around. And the top guy there was VSK. And
Oh, that's a name.
there's there's a funny picture of him holding me up at my ninth birthday party because I was his manager and he has me on his shoulders, and that's if you want, I'll just say it, that's a dream match of mine. Like
Paul Bo, Anthony King, and if you're listening, if you don't
yeah,
book him versus VSK and do the whole like VSK holding him in his arms, you fucked up.
yeah, that was a great moment. I remember it all the time, and he was actually
And for
there.
how active he is at PPW, that can
Yeah.
happen. That can
Oh yeah.
happen.
Yeah, no, we talk all the time at the shows. It's super
Is
cool.
he
Like,
aware of you and the baby
yeah,
picture? Okay,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. We were joking. Like, he was there the night I debuted, and we were like, "You wanna recreate the let's recreate the photo." He saw the picture. He's like, "Oh, fuck that," and then we just like a regular picture. Uh,
Bro, that
so
makes me so happy. I
yeah,
was not aware of that story. That is
yeah.
great.
Mm.
So when did you start to like find out like, all right, how did you find? Because like I said, you were in the PPW thing. Was that where you first got into training when they were at Holy Academy and that stuff?
Yeah, so I actually was at PPW the first, like, because when Mikey Whipwreck was actually
Yeah,
training,
he was training. Yes.
I was there the first month actually, and I was 14. I was not ready for it really yet. I took a year, kind of just decided I need a little bit more.
I want to backtrack real quick. So
Yeah,
at 14 years old, how do you stumble across PPW, their school? You're from
yeah,
Long Island. That's in
yeah.
Hazleton. How does that come about?
So I moved up to Northeast PA like the year previous. And my mom is known I want to be a pro wrestler for a long time, and a lot of these stories come back to my mom just being the most supportive person
That
I
is
know.
so key, man.
Yeah,
People
and
don't realize how strong support can be for somebody in their dreams and their
yeah,
passion. Like,
yeah,
listen, you can be that person who just overcomes the odds of everyone saying you can't do something, but
yeah,
having a parent, a friend, a brother,
yeah,
anything who just like, dude, I got your fucking back.
yeah,
Do it. Your mom's putting you in positions since the age of 14 years old to be in this business,
yeah,
bro. That's so
yeah,
strong. That's such a strong thing you can do for somebody. I love that.
yeah, yeah. No, she found it on Facebook, like just searching because I was like, I want to train so badly. I just don't know what's around. She found it. It was good. I just wasn't ready. Everything hurt. I was 14. It hurts a lot. And
When you're
then
14, you're just running ropes, doing calisthenics. You're not really like you're doing bumps, but you're not really locking up with people, correct?
I was, but it was hurting a lot.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
not a lot of meat in those bones. Just pure bone on the ground.
I needed a good year to kind of build everything back up. And so then I spent a year just doing whatever, and then I came back and everything was good. Everything still hurt a lot because I'm when you're like in high school, you're growing a lot and everything hurt a lot. I it was a fun, but it was a fun process. I love it.
Was there ever a moment in that first year when when it just
I'm
hurt so
sorry.
bad, taking the bumps and you good?
I think my headset just died. 1 second.
Go ahead, take your time.
Okay, we're good. We're good. We're good.
Okay, so in that first year, was there ever any doubt in your mind? Was there like, man, this hurts too much. I don't know if I can do this. I'm so small. Like this is really this is more than I thought. Did that ever creep into your head?
It has to. But it I always kind of just told myself like you have to be a pro wrestler. Like that was I I my brain has IQ points at wrestling. That's I never passed math. That was I couldn't do math. My brain just works for pro wrestling, and I was like, man, this sucks right now, but it's not gonna suck soon. You know, and since it was just training for so long, I was like, man, a year and a half, year and 5 months, year and 4 months. Like I'm just waiting. I'm like biting at I'm just biting at the opportunity to just be out in front of the crowd. And so yeah, I think doubt is something that everybody has to go through, and just being able to realize, hey, look, you can do this.
Yeah.
Is important.
You are light years ahead of people when it comes to time in ring at 18 years old. You realize that,
Yeah,
right? Like
yeah, yeah,
li- that is a huge badge of honor, my guy. Like, and the fact that like you train with a Mikey Whipwreck for a little bit, like that's a good trainer. Like now another thing too, I know you train right now with how you were PPW. Now you were at Battlefield, and I said now you just moved. My last guest, we just talked about how he loves going to different schools and
yeah,
experiencing new schools because it makes him more well rounded. Is that something you're looking at as well, of trying to maybe see different places to see what you can pick up from other places?
yeah. So I trained with Tommy Swade for a
Yeah,
really
Tommy
long
Swade as well. I'm so
time.
sorry I forgot that. Yeah,
Yeah, Tommy trained me for it was me and him for 2 years. I saw so many people, and I'm sure you've seen new wrestlers come to
come and go.
PPW, boom, gone, and the kid who was 15 stuck through, and I wasn't even able to be on shows. I didn't have that instant gratification, uh, but yeah, I trained with him, and then Alpha came in, and now I live in Connecticut for school, and I actually train at the Test of Strength wrestling school with Bobby Ocean and Slick Wagner Brown.
And that is
And
a product of a Killer Kowalski school.
yes, yes, it is.
Uh,
So
a,
cool lineage.
a person who I just had on the podcast trained out of there and became a referee, Ref Gina,
Yes, yeah, yeah, yeah. It's
who's killing it on the independent scene.
oh yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
as a referee, as a production, as someone who's booking the IWTV Tag Team Championship tournament.
yeah, yeah. It's I love it there. Everywhere I've been has been phenomenal, and I've learned so many different things. Like
How close are you up there in Connecticut to going to like Beyond and stuff?
Beyond, I'm about an hour and a half. I was
It's a
looking at
bucket
it.
list promotion to go hang out at.
That
They have a
is
lot. They book good talent and good shows.
yeah. Like I'm close friends with a lot of those guys. Like a lot of guys who go up there. And there's so much talent, and I want to get up there. It
Just go and be seen.
Yeah, I was planning on going up, but then I needed to get my appendix removed, so that put a halt in everything. And now I'm just
Yeah.
building the strength back up, physically and stuff. So yeah,
Yeah. So all these years, just grinding, doing everything. Actually, one more question: while you're training,
yeah,
what is training with Alpha Junior like?
it's a lot of cardio. Like it's a lot of just you're gonna be drenched in sweat by the end of it, and that's just the Samoan way, baby. Like they make sure you're dry heaving. But when you're dry heaving, you feel that like, man, I put in so much work just now, and you
Hmm.
get rewarded because you're built to the point where you feel like you can't continue, but you're able to continue even further, and it's a very cool thing to think, man, I can't breathe. I'm out of it right now. And then just being like, you know what? No, I got an extra life in me right now. And having that when you go inside a ring is so important because you get blown up quick. You get blown up quick, and
So for
they
people
build
who don't know, if you're
endurance.
listening to this interview, the term "blowing up" means just you can't, you lost your breath, you're
Yeah,
exhausted, it's hard, you're trying to regain yourself real quick because
yeah,
it's almost like like if best way is like if you're playing football and you have that like a long series in a game and you just go to the sideline and you feel like you have no air in your lungs
yeah.
and imagine doing that in front of people when you're putting on performance and you have to roll out of the ring. You're like, please come back. I still have eight
Yeah,
minutes to go.
yeah, yeah. It's it's been a lot of fun. Like I think everywhere I've trained has given me different things. Like Tommy gave me so much. I feel like a lot of techniques, and he also helped me with stuff like moonsaults and stuff. Because as jacked as he was doing Phoenix splashes like
Hmm.
450s. Like Tommy's the guy.
Athletic, very athletic.
Yeah, Alpha was helping me just kind of build up my strength, build my conditioning, just all that. And now at Test of Strength, there's a lot of also just technique and it's just everything's helped me so much. Like just having so many different walks of lives just like come to like like they say, a community builds a person, and I think just
Hmm.
going to all these different places has really helped me become the wrestler I am now.
It's crazy we're saying it like this, and you're freaking 18 years old. it's That's so crazy to me. I really want to hammer that point home if you're listening that this kid has a resume, and he literally just had his first couple matches this year, and just his in ring time is crazy, and he's 18 years old. 18. I can't wait for when we look back in this podcast in 5 to 6 years and people are like, "Yo, this
Yeah.
kid's on AEW," and here he is sitting there with his 70s porn curtains and pillow. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Oh,
But
yeah.
yeah, so let's get through that moment where they say, "Hey, listen, Nolan, this show, you're going out there."
Yeah.
Walk,
Oh
walk
man.
us through that. How did you find
It
out? When did you learn? Did you learn leading up to the show? Did you find out the night of? How did this go? How did this process work?
I had actually known for months in advance because this was kind of, they were like they were waiting. Like we were counting down every show. Whenever I saw a person like Paul, Bo, Anthony, I was just like, 4 months, 4 months. And then I saw it was on my birthday. Funny enough, I don't even think
Mm-hmm.
they realized. I saw the graphic, Nolan Pierce versus Tim Theory. And I was like, there it is. That's the match. We got the match now. And it was such a great moment. Like I had my grandparents there. I had my best friends from like New Jersey, Connecticut, all just coming together. Like my family's all there, wearing Nolan Pierce shirts that we got made. It was such a beautiful moment, and so many people came to my just to watch. Like Alpha had just wrestled, and he walks past the curtain and stands by the door to watch the match.
Mm-hmm.
He wanted, and it was just so many people just had my back, and it was just such a great moment. I'll be man enough to say it. After the match, I was overcome with emotion. Like I was just walking around in the back, just like this like euphoric, and
Mm-hmm.
I broke down. Like it was like,
And listen, that's not being man enough to show emotion. That means you care. That means it
yeah,
means something to you. You know what I mean? That's a,
yeah,
that's a good emotion to have. If you're not feeling that way, then
yeah,
are you in the right thing? You know what I mean? If
yeah,
you don't look and see your first step of many and don't get a little emotional about it, like there's times I have an episode and I close it out and I sit there and I don't get full emotional, but I sit there and go, that was a good one. That was one that I'll remember
yeah,
for a while. You know what I mean? That's good to have those feelings.
yeah. No, those feelings like those are so important because I leading up to the match, I was on late on the show. I was like the co-main event, and leading up to it, at first I didn't feel anything. I was like, I'm ready for this. And then the show goes on. I see people like match one's done, match two's done, and I'm like, man, am I made for this? Like, am I made for this? And I'm just questioning myself. Like, then once I'm in backstage position, I'm smacking myself in the face. I'm God. Like I'm winning. You know, like I went crazy right before I walked out, and as soon as I walked through the curtain, I just screamed, and yeah, it was a great moment. It was everything. You know, just being able to be emotionally raw in a moment like that is very important, and I'm lucky enough to be super comfortable at PPW to where I'm sitting in the locker room just like, man, like you know, like this, the work's worth it, you know.
Yeah.
It's important, you know. That was a very important thing for me.
I love that. That is about as beautiful as you're going to get here in the story of professional wrestling. I don't even care if you're listening to this podcast and you're not a pro wrestling fan. That is that is inspirational.
Yeah,
You could be in any industry, any field, any dream, any passion. That's dope, man. I'm glad you shared that with me. I appreciate it. Um,
yeah,
so going forward, I can't really talk too much about accomplishments because you only have a handful of matches, right?
yeah,
Um, but what are some? I know we talked about. You said you want to experience new promotions. You want to experience new schools and kind of
yeah,
make yourself well rounded. What are some other things that are on your bucket list right now? Maybe
yeah,
not even just wrestling wise. Maybe just personal wise, or things you want to kind of get done.
yeah. My goal for wrestling, in the end, is I love Japan. I love Japanese wrestling. I love the fans that are just able to immerse themselves fully in wrestling to the rawest extent, and so that's a huge thing for me. Right now, I just want to build up a resume. Like, I want to have more matches that I can send to people and just be like, look, you know, here's my move set. You know, I just have more stuff like that, and I have, you know, being hurt, I haven't been able to, but you know, I'm back now. I want to be able to show off my moves more. I want to wow people a little bit. Like, you know, I'd show them I'm very technically sound. I'm confident in what I have, and just having more matches that I want to be proud of. You know, I think that's so important. And you know, as I gain confidence when I wrestle, it's just building up more reps, more reps, more reps, and yeah, right now, you know, I'd love to get some gold on me. Don't don't necessarily care where or what, you know. Uh, there's a lot of different things I'd like to accomplish, and just being so fresh, there isn't like a, you know, like I want to be world champion now. I just want to experience wrestling a little bit more. I want to see what it's like in other places. Like, it's, you know, I'm just, I'm looking at the business with wide eyes right now, and
Hmm.
I'm excited to explore it even more.
Now, when you go to a wrestling school and they're teaching you obviously wrestling stuff, right? Have you ever thought of maybe crossing that into taking like boxing or kickboxing lessons so you can work on your striking, work on ground game, learn actual like Greco-Roman wrestling or stuff like that? Are you mixing that? Is that something you want to mix into your training to try to make yourself even more well-rounded? Is that things on your radar as well? Is that things that wrestling schools are now adding to their resumes to make you better?
I actually do take Muay Thai and Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, so that I love MMA. I'm a huge fan of MMA. So I was kind of like, man, if there's anything that can help me in wrestling, I'm gonna do it. And I also just really like Muay Thai, Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, stuff like that. I just find it so interesting, and I like breaking down like how to take down somebody. You know, like, because like it's as simple as this. Like, you can take somebody down, and just I also like, I'm huge on striking. Like, I like getting chopped. As weird as that is, it's chopping me like, don't tell South Philly. I mean, they already know at this point. Like, but yeah, I just, stuff like that I'm super big on, and I like, I keep improving, and you know,
That would be a cool facet to your character. Like people see you and they think you're gonna be flying around, jumping, doing all the high fly stuff, but like that's not easy on your body after years. If you can stand
yeah,
up and maybe add that kickboxing where you're doing the leg strikes, where you're looking for the single leg, where you're pulling a Muay Thai clinch, where you have people in the corner, you have that long frame and that tallness, you can throw those knees and
yeah,
incorporate that into your wrestling style. I think that'd be kind of dope.
Yeah, yes. That's my style. Like I love Kyle O'Reilly, for example. He's one of my
Mm-hmm.
favorites. Brian Danielson, who everybody loves.
Bro,
He's
one
the
of the
goat.
coolest seminars I got to experience. I like to show up to shows a little earlier, especially the seminar. I'm not going to get anything
Yeah,
out of the seminar. I'm not stepping in there. I like, you know what I mean? But hearing
yeah.
what talent say to you guys is super
Oh,
fascinating to me and it motivates me. But one of
yeah,
the coolest seminars I got to sit there and really, really dissect, and I thought I'm not sure if you were in this one or not. Was when Davey Richards was at PPW and he did that
yeah,
seminar where he
yeah,
was legit teaching people like, hey, this is how you snap a kneecap, but this is
yeah,
how you do it in a wrestling match and not hurt somebody. But
yeah,
if someone's getting a little crazy, just do this, do that, and they'll slow down real
yeah,
quick. I was
yeah,
like, this
yeah.
is a cool class.
Yeah, that was a super cool one because he's been one of my favorites for a long time. Like that was one of the first like indie names I really kind of got into and was like, oh my god, like this guy, like just so sharp with everything. Like
Yeah, he's unbelievable. Jay Lethal had a really good seminar.
yes,
Brian Kendrick had a good seminar this
hmm
year. Doc
yeah,
Gallows seminar was like Doc Gallows seminar was like if he was legit there for WWE, he treated it like a WWE's tryout.
yeah,
Like I
I
thought that was really good. Yeah,
yeah. I was unfortunately not able to attend that one. I think that's when I got my wisdom teeth removed. So like,
yeah. That
I
one was
was
crazy because everybody was in the ring training, and he's like,
yeah.
"Yo, everyone shirts off," and everyone's like, and not everybody in that ring was comfortable taking their shirt off. He goes, "This is part of the game, baby. You got to be. They want a
Let me
body
see
guy."
it.
Yeah,
Let me see it. Yeah.
yep.
That's
Because
funny. That's
a
really
lot of people
good.
were just like, and they looked over at Off, and Off was like, "Take your shirts off." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it was,
That's
it was,
funny.
yeah, it was cool, man. I love experiencing that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So besides being completely obsessed with wrestling and being this deep like into a career without even having that many matches, what are some other things that you do on the side that keep you entertained or keep you
Yeah.
going?
Yeah. I love hockey. Hockey's a big part of my life. Yeah, I'm a big New York Islanders fan.
That's because VSK.
Yeah, yeah. No, we talk about hockey all the time. Just being from Long Island, that's like something I could be proud of. Like oh, we have one team. We got a hockey team, and like
Yeah,
so many
most New
people.
York teams don't even play in New York, but they rep the team
Yeah,
name, the city name. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. Jets, Giants.
yeah.
In
They should just
Jersey.
yeah just call them the New Jersey teams.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know if that would sell as well, but yeah, gotta claim they're in New
I
York.
talk all that crap, and we're Washington fans, and they don't even play in Washington.
Ah,
They're in Maryland.
yeah, true. Yeah, with a stadium that's falling apart. So yeah,
Well, hopefully, if this owner gets out of, if we
yeah,
can get him out, they pretty
yeah,
much said they'll put a stadium where RFK was, but they're not
yeah,
doing it with Dan Snyder as the owner.
yeah. No, that I'm hoping he's out soon. This has
Please,
not been
God,
good.
taking two
It's
losses in a row, we're still statistically in the playoff
yeah,
hunt, which is
yeah.
I'm
I
just
don't.
nervous that they're gonna roll with Carson the last three games to see what he has, and
Yeah,
I
no,
and I and I don't want that.
no, no. Heineke's been our guy.
I love
Our
Taylor.
our XFL quarterback, baby.
The heart, the guy has grit and heart, man. I don't
Yeah,
care if we lose by 40. If he's out there, I still have faith in
yeah.
him.
Oh yeah, no, I'm just happy he's there. Like
Yeah.
he's one of those players that's like I don't. You just love his story, like similar to, like wrestling. Like I feel like he has a great story of just
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
grind. So just so many people. I love hearing stories like that.
Yeah.
Just
That's what I said. Any industry, man, when people have that motivation and they have that like like for me, I can literally scroll on Facebook and there's like
yeah,
people I follow and I like have highlighted to see their stuff first because I
yeah,
like their grind. I like what they're putting in. I like what they
yeah,
do. And I try to fill my news feed up with people who motivate me to become better.
yeah,
I don't want to see if you're just posting like I can't stand insert politic this thing. You'll be my friend, but I'm not look. I can't see any of your stuff because I
yeah,
just when I turn on my social media, I want to get myself out of a rut and I want to get myself a little bit of an escape. And if I
yeah,
follow all people who motivate me and things that I want to see and things I want to consume, that that pushes me to be a better person. And yeah, those type of stories are the ones I'm always seeking out for.
yeah, yeah. Like, my roommate in Connecticut, is his name is Mark Alexander. He's a wrestler as well, over here in Connecticut, and we've been friends for years, and just having somebody in like your as a roommate who is also pursuing the same thing you are is such a motivating thing.
Hmm.
Like like there's days where I'm like, man, I don't really want to go to the gym. Like everything hurts today. I don't want to get up. And having a roommate who's there, like, yo, I'm hitting the gym at 3. Like, let's go. And just being able to have that, like, it enables healthier eating habits. Like, there's just being motivated is so important because
It's
it
hard.
allows. It's hard. It really is. Like,
It's
and
almost harder than the actual task you need to motivate yourself for. And I think
yes,
that's
yeah,
the challenge. Like people say, like, man, the
yeah,
gym is hard. But the hardest part is getting there. Once you're
yes,
there and you start doing it, that's easy.
yeah. Oh yeah, no,
And then you're
definitely.
sore, and then it's that
Yeah,
motivation again to get back there the next day.
yeah. That's really all it is. Like, it's because we're in an age where your mind works in so many different ways. Like I have crazy I have ADHD. I have you know, and so my mind is always in two different places, and
Hmm.
I it, it it's so interesting to like try to focus on one thing. Is and I think it's similar for everybody where you want to focus on something and you're already thinking about, oh, what am I gonna do later for dinner, or like, and just being able to be like, no, I gotta get to the gym like now, like we gotta accomplish what we set out for today, and
Hmm.
I struggle with that a lot, but I have people who help keep me in place, so it's
I struggle with that with the like sometimes I'm like, man, I don't want a podcast today. And
yeah,
then I'll just be like, you know what, just go get it done. And then as soon as I hit record and I'm sitting in front of this camera, it just like it washes over me like, all
yeah,
right, I'm in my zone, let's get it done.
yeah, yeah,
If anyone has any questions, please put them in the chat. We're coming up to the end here. If there's anything you want to get out, kind of keep that stored away, and then we'll
yeah.
get that out. But we do have our first one from New Generation TVT. I'm not quite sure who that is, but thank you for hanging out. Uh, I have to go and research your channel after we're done here. If you're a content creator, please hit me up. I'd love to collaborate. But what is the hardest thing about putting a match together?
I look at matches very differently. Like my favorite stuff is '90s All Japan with Kenta Kobashi, Masawa, and I just love, how hard they're hitting each other, and it's very different because a lot of the match is them on the floor laying down because they're exhausted, and I love kind of putting before we even kind of decide how a match is gonna go, I like kind of thinking, all right, what makes sense here? Like, all right, I'm a young kid right now. I think it makes sense for me to go up against this guy, and like he's gonna out wrestle me, but I have the speed advantage, and just putting like logical things into like matches, I think is so cool. Like it kind of becomes a science, and people don't realize it because you kind of because people are like, you'll see so many people complain about wrestling, dude, it's fake, like everything like that, they don't like certain stuff, but most people do have that science where it's like, they find their structure, they find their flow, and
I
it's
love when I'm calling a match on commentary. And that exact same mentality is what I'm thinking how this match should go. But
yeah,
I'm not privy to any of that. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So like you go in and you're the high flyer versus the striker, and then
yeah,
he starts chopping your legs out so you can't be as quick. And then I'll say
yeah,
like I'll kind of as a color commentator, I'm like,
yeah,
hey, his goal to win this is slowing this Nolan down. He has heart, he
yeah,
has determination, but he has to chop those legs out. And then like 3 minutes into the match, you guys have that same idea, so you start working the legs. I'm like, well, there it
yeah,
is, and it makes me look like a genius on commentary. And then people
yeah,
think that we've talked beforehand, and we haven't, and then
yeah,
it's very cohesive.
yeah,
Yeah, I love that, and you have to put all that together as well as how do I work to the crowd?
yes, yes,
Yeah, which I
it's a
think is becoming a
challenge.
lost art, and it needs to
Yeah,
come back. Jericho with Action and Jetty absolutely proved
yeah,
you need to work a crowd.
yeah. Oh yeah, like they went into it and convinced the whole crowd it was gonna be a sweep.
Yep.
Like Jericho was gonna beat Action Andretti. Matches goes increasingly longer, and you're like, hold up.
and the crowd
There's
chanting. I still think that Chris Jericho said something to somebody in the crowd like, "I'm gonna beat this jobber," because he's known for planting stuff in the.
yeah,
He's a pro. He knows how to put
yeah,
the. And then people are like
yeah,
you know what I mean? And then
yeah,
his just look react when they say "Let's go jobber," and he looks, and then I'm like, "Oh, that got it." He reacted to us. Now we all have to chant. You know that's
yeah,
small stuff. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Speaking of being a Commanders fan, I love
yeah.
this name. One of my favorite players of all time. Sean Taylor asks, "Is Japan the end goal for you, and would you be willing to go through the young lion system?"
Of course. I love New Japan. Like everything's so cool about it. Like, I would be willing to do anything to really, get to one of those promotions. And yeah, Japan's the end. There's so many different things I want to accomplish though. I really want to grow in the American independent scene because I love how passionate the fans are. Watching Beyond shows, for example, and just seeing how into it the fans are, and just like those close
GCW,
GCW, yes,
they're
like
crazy.
the fans are so like it feels like close to the ring. I mean, they physically are as well, and like it just it gives off like a Fight Club vibe, like
Hmm.
where it's like everybody's just clamoring and they want to see you do stuff
I
to
love it when
impress
you
them.
have to fight your way through the crowd to get to the ring. I think that's
Yeah,
a dope. Yeah, I think that's such a
yeah,
cool
yeah.
visual.
Oh
Uh,
yeah,
there's nothing better. And this is what I tell fans all the time. I said, listen, don't come and sit on your hands. The more you
yeah,
give, the more you're gonna get.
yeah.
You can dictate if a match goes to a 2-star or 3-star to a 6-star because
Yeah.
if you're feeding energy, I guarantee you those talent in the ring, guy or girl, they are going to give you more than you ask for if you feed into them.
Oh yeah. It's so like you feel like a rush when
Hmm.
fans are like chanting your name. It gives you second wind.
I feel a rush on
Cause
commentary. I'm not even in there.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Like it's so special, and I just wanted to say for a second, like I love commentary is such an it's such an unsung hero for
Thank
wrestling
you.
where
If I appreciate that because
where
it feels like some places you go, they don't care that it's there.
oh yeah, no, and like I love going back and hearing how the story is portrayed to different people. Like hearing how like a commentator, they're almost like a narrator because they're trying to describe how the story comes to them and how they view things, and that's how I love to look at wrestling too. Like I like to look at it from like this guy and this guy haven't really had a match, but like this guy's a relationship with this guy and that they've had a match and they don't like each other and like just
You
stuff
know how
like that.
hard it is when you pride yourself on being knowledgeable of other people's work on the independent scene, and
Yeah.
then they're like, "Well, you can't mention other independent things." It's like
Oh,
you're
yeah.
chopping me away here. Like
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
yeah. If you are new to the YouTube side, there's a lot of new faces I've never seen before. New generation, Sean, Pool Pyro, who has our next question. Make sure you're hitting subscribe. Like I said, we're now 5 away from 380.
Yes.
We're closing in on the
Yeah.
400 goal by the end of this year. That'd be crazy.
Yeah.
That you guys would literally make my day if we can hit that 400. But
That's gonna
5
be
away
tough.
from 380. That's super sick. Pool Pyro says this is actually the most interaction questions we've had, I think, on this show so far. So you guys are killing it. Please
Nice.
keep the questions coming. What is your number one dream match that you want to see take place in 2022 or 2023? Now, I don't know if he's asking that matches you want to see as a fan or matches you
Mhm.
would love to be a part
Yeah.
of. Let's do both.
Okay. So, from a fan perspective, it's kind of a wrestler side too, because I like to just watch and learn stuff from wrestling. I'm very excited for Will Ospreay versus Kenny Omega's coming up in like another few days, and I'm very excited for that. I think, they're both. I mean, Jesus. Uh but like a match I could just draw together, like something with like a Brian Danielson.
Just send Brian Danielson to Japan and just give us
Yeah,
anything we get.
yeah, yeah. I'll take it. Like Brian Danielson versus Japan. There it
Yeah,
is. There, for him versus anybody. And then for me, there's a lot of people I'd really like to work. Like I have some of my, like a match like VSK is one. I'd
you
love
just
to
made that
work.
my must see match 2020. I want that. I want that match now.
Yeah. Some other names I'd love to face a guy like Ichiban, who I think is killing it on the East Coast right now. And he is so talented and will be signed very soon. I'm very confident of that. You know,
You know who else
a
I'd like
name.
to see you work?
Hmm,
Because I think it'd be a very safe match. I think it'd be a very technical match, and I think his veteranness in professional wrestling and your new upcoming skills, I think would clash very well. I think you and Andy Header would be fun in a one-on-one
yeah,
match.
that would be a lot of fun. I
Yeah,
mean, I've known him for a while now, because he's established that he's a guy you can always go to have a very good match, and
and
he's
you're gonna be safe, and you're gonna put a good,
yeah,
and he has the mind state that he's gonna put together something that's gonna be entertaining.
yeah, no, that would be a very fun one. Like,
Yeah,
that a match like that. There's so many different things I want to do, and I'm just going into this year with an open mind. Like,
love that.
and whatever I get thrown into, I'm gonna make the best of it. Like, this January, I'm facing Joey Martinez, which is one I'm very much looking forward to at
That's gonna be
Battlefield.
good.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. He's a fantastic wrestler, and I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. So, just there's so many things like.
Yeah.
It's hard to kind of pinpoint certain names because you forget so many,
Hmm.
and it's like I could sit here for an hour just telling you I would wrestle this guy like this,
Hmm.
like, and just kind of, but nobody wants to hear that. Like, that's just nobody wants to hear my Christmas list.
Yeah. Scott says this is my Australian love right here. I love this guy to death. But he said, "When will I see you on Australia?" I'm hoping, Scott, that you don't see him in Australia. I'd love for you to go to Australia. I'm not saying I don't want you there, but I want, because Scott's talking about moving to Canada, and he's
Mm,
a short where he's moving in Canada is a short drive over the border where he'll be right in Pennsylvania. So
nice.
I think you'll see him more in Pennsylvania or Canada than you will in Australia. So let's get that process moving and get over on get away from that nice warm weather and go freeze your ass off in Canada. Dudes at
I would
ringside
love
says,
to.
what is your favorite New Japan match?" Another people in the chat saying hello,
Yeah,
and he
I,
said
I
yes,
would
go.
actually, I would actually really like to go to Australia. By the way, I have a friend there who's actually on the Australian independent scene. So,
Who's that? He might know him.
he's not a wrestler. He's
No,
kind of just helping out with stuff. Yeah, he's been a close friend for a while. Just goes to all the shows and stuff. And like, hearing his stories about the independent scene is so cool to me because I'm like, I don't know who any of these people are, but like, it's so cool to see, like, in a different continent wrestling, like, thriving. And just
Australia, New Zealand having a big year this year for their
yeah,
talent,
yeah.
getting some. Yeah,
They opened up like a New Japan school there in New Zealand, which is super cool to see.
yeah.
Yeah, but then going to the my
Your
favorite New
favorite New
Japan
Japan
match.
match?
Yeah, your safe answer is always anything with Omega and Okada.
Yeah, because they've wrestled 138 times.
Yeah, and they've all gone 2 hours. Like,
Yeah.
uh, if we're gonna go with an it's not it's still a popular opinion, but Katsuyori Shibata versus Kazuchika Okada in the match where he split open his own skull. That was a beautiful match. It's uncomfortable to see him, like, struggling to walk backstage, and, like, you see the blood pouring. It's a sight, but you're like, man, he was trying to win back the crowd because he betrayed their trust, and he did, and now he's a beloved figure. But he can't wrestle anymore, but beloved character, and just
Yeah.
you know,
Uh,
wrestling's beautiful.
Sam Minchin says in the chat, "What are your goals for 2023?" I think we kind of got covered that, but if you want to kind of highlight that in case you missed it.
Yeah, just I just wanna explore wrestling more. I wanna go to different states and wrestle. I wanna explore more into New
Dude,
Jersey.
Jersey's a blast. You got to get to
Jersey,
Jersey. Oh, I
yeah,
have such a
yeah,
good time in Jersey.
yeah.
Chad, if
I
you're
need,
listening, get this kid in Jersey.
yeah. I want to go out to Jersey more. I want to go up to Mass. Just I'd like to go out to Long Island just because it's where I grew up and I haven't been there in a long time.
If
Like,
I ever have an empty seat in a car and you want to come to Jersey, let me know.
I
Jump in with
I'll
me.
gladly take it. Well,
Yeah.
let's do it. Yeah, I enjoy the drives with wrestling.
So do
That's one
I.
thing.
Dude,
Yeah,
there's times where I'm in a car ride for 4 hours to Jersey with like Philly Mike or Pete DeLong,
yeah.
and we never turn the radio on. It's a
Yeah.
conversation the whole way there.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
I fucking love it. They
Oh,
probably
it's
hate me because all I do is want to talk, but that's I don't
yeah.
know.
Oh no,
Yeah,
I'm just like that. It's bad. I'm sure people get annoyed by me, like, because
same.
I have snow tires, so I'm normally like they're like, all right, you're driving, and you know, all I do is like to talk, and you know, they're like, man, can we not talk about wrestling for like 5 minutes? Like, I'm kind of just
Yeah.
like, but you know, it's just how
uh,
it is.
some Japan matches in the chat. Danielson carrying Tanahashi. Danielson Okada versus Naito. Lisa Osborne
Yes.
says, "Hey everybody in the chat versus Tanahashi. How do you
Yeah.
feel you and Trevor Kage complement one another? Is your chemistry as easy as it looks, or does it take countless reps?" Well, countless reps is something. Well, you guys train together, so maybe the reps are there. But 9 times out of 10, when two tag team guys are paired together, it's like they don't even talk to each other after this.
Yeah, yeah. It's tag team wrestling so interesting, and I've really enjoyed it so far. It's and teaming with that's been a lot of fun because we're very different people, and so it's cool to kind of work with somebody who's different than you, and you kind of learn how different people view wrestling, and you kind of come to an understanding, and you're like, all right, I want to do these things and you want to do these things, so let's kind of get what we can out of it to make it the best possible thing. And that's been a lot of fun. I like when wrestling isn't just somebody agreeing. I like when there's more challenge to it, because when you have people who have differing views, it becomes fantastic. I think
Yeah,
some of the best matches are people with very different styles, working together. Like
absolutely.
Brock Lesnar versus Daniel Bryan, Brock Lesnar versus AJ Styles, some really good matches. And Brock is not a wrestler like AJ Styles is, so it's wrestling's so much fun.
I'll tell you what, man. 2022 put Brock Lesnar in a whole new light for me.
Yeah,
He's the
yeah,
guy that like you go back and look at everything. You're like, dude, he's one of the greatest of all time.
yeah, yeah. Like
Yeah,
I feel like you don't appreciate him. I feel like for a while, like where it was like he was kind of booked in a very interesting light,
but
and
then
then
you
he
look at it,
kind
you're
of
like, he was booked exactly how he should have been booked. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like you
yeah,
kind of look back at everything, you're like, it was fucking perfect.
yeah, yeah. It's because I think it wasn't very known at the time. It was like he was one of the last big names, and
he,
they
this is
they
my take, and
saw it.
it's maybe controversial, but he is everything they wanted Andre to be, but in modern day time. I think
Yeah,
he eclipsed. Andre was very tall, had a very
yeah,
distinct look, but Brock Lesnar we will probably never have another Brock Lesnar again, and
no,
I think his body of work surpasses Andre's,
yeah. Because Brock Lesnar was
and his
real.
draw is bigger than Andre's.
Yeah, we knew Brock Lesnar he was the real deal. We saw him win the UFC Heavyweight Championship, and then when he came back to wrestling, and you were like, oh my god, this guy's jacked up, like ready to
Yeah,
kill everyone.
it's
Like,
crazy. He's
yeah,
he like we always throw around wonders of the world.
yeah.
Brock Lesnar's one of those wonders.
Oh
Like
my god,
he's
yeah,
not you don't see
yeah.
people like that.
No,
But we have one last question here and we'll wrap this up. My second question is if you were offered to take part in a WWE tryout, would you? Of course he would.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Nah, I'm
yes,
staying home.
yeah, yeah.
I like when
There
people
was
ask, where would you rather go, AEW, WWE? It's like, whoever takes me.
yeah, yeah. I will go anywhere.
Yeah.
If you let me live out my dream, I'll go.
Yeah, exactly.
That's just how it is.
Yep.
Yeah. WWE tryouts seem intense, but with the training I've learned a lot about the WWE tryouts. Like I've learned a lot of, I feel like learned almost everything that they do at a WWE tryout, and which has been very interesting because it kind of prepares me for what they're looking for. And
You would be a perfect fit for extra work. Like
I
Leo Sparrow, because he's a small, tiny guy,
yeah.
has just been getting tossed all over the world this
Oh
year
yeah.
by every
Yeah.
big guy in wrestling. You would
Yeah.
be a dream fit for extra work.
Oh yeah. Yeah, dude, they give you a nice paycheck for those too. Oh. Oh.
I hope Leo got a couple extra bucks when Wardlow put him through a steel
Oh.
cage.
Oh, that was like he went like down the ringside
Yeah,
to like
he disappeared.
yeah. Yeah, you
And then a
got
couple weeks later, got beat up by Omos. Like, yeah,
yeah. Yeah, the stuff like it's always so cool to see people on TV, and you're like,
If you want to hear a good kind of callback to another episode, if you go back to the Lucas Finnegan interview, he did extra work twice on WWE,
yeah,
and both times involved Brock Lesnar, and they're
oh,
amazing stories. Yeah.
that's awesome.
Is there anything you want to get out there before we wrap up that we didn't talk about?
No, I'm just glad we got to talk about wrestling. It's just I really appreciate everybody supporting me this past few months. Like this has been everything I've wanted it to be. Uh, being able to come on a podcast like this with you is just so awesome. I've really been introduced to so many great people through wrestling, and I can't just say enough good things about everything that's happened so far this year. Like, it's been an interesting year, and but it really helps you realize how much you love. I like going through injury and stuff. It helped me realize how much I love wrestling and how much I love the people that surround wrestling and how important it is to me. And like, I lose my sanity without it.
Hmm.
So, but yeah, no, I'm just very thankful to be on this podcast. I'm thankful for everybody who's been super supportive and kind so far this
Well,
year.
we're all thankful for the hard work you put in to get here to your first couple of matches here in 2022. You have a very, very bright future. I try to pride myself on having my thumb on the pulse of independent wrestling, and I love to give people that platform so people around the country can hear it. Like I said before, I got a chance to meet Bill Abner, and he was the guy who kind of showed the North and the South who was the top guys in each area because of his magazine. And if I can
Yeah,
do that with this podcast and showcasing not just wrestling talent, but music and movie. And like this podcast is open to anybody. You don't have to be a wrestler or per person in the wrestling business to be on it. But just
yeah,
because I'm very immersed in the wrestling culture, you're going to get a lot of wrestling interviews.
yeah.
But there's going to be a lot of young talent that you're going to see in the next couple months and in the past episodes that I have faith in. I think they're good people, and I think that beginning journey is fun to have because I'm telling you, you're going to look back at December 27th, 2022 in 4 or 5 years, and you're going to be like, yo, I remember watching him on a podcast and 13 people were in there live, and now this kid's killing it. Like his
Yeah.
determination, his hard work, his work ethic, his drive is bar none. And I'm telling you, if you're not from the Northeast PA area, you have people from Australia watching, people from Canada watching, they're gonna know who you are in the next 5 to 10 years, man, because of how dedicated and how passionate you are. Please, I ask
Thank
all
you.
of you in the chat once again to go to the links below. His links are there. His Instagram, his YouTube. Follow him. He is someone you're gonna want to mark down and continue his journey with him. Show him that support. Get in those comment threads and say, "Hey, man, keep grinding." Like, become a fan of this kid. You know what I mean? Because I'm telling you, you're going to want to jump on this train now and don't wait
Thank you.
until it already happened.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. Everybody subscribe as well. 380. We got. How are we looking? How are we looking?
All right, let's take a peek real quick. We are at now it's not showing 377.
Okay. Okay. All right.
377. I
Yeah.
appreciate if you guys all share this out, just be like, hey, go check out this channel. There's a lot of new content coming very soon. 2023, I'm bringing back beer reviews. I'm going to go to breweries. I'm going to go to dive bars. I'm going to go to distilleries and just kind of film myself having an experience there, reviewing some product and coming back and edit it and put it out for you guys. We're doing movie, comic books, TV, music reviews coming up very soon. They won't be podcasts. They'll just be live streams on the channel. I'm bringing back me and my wife talking about horror movies. So we're going to watch a horror movie and talk about it with me and my wife. Tons more podcast interviews coming. I know I sucked at it last year, but I'm going to bring back the vlog. So when I go to shows, I'm going to do a vlog in my travels and my experience at wrestling shows because I thought they were fun. I just got to get over that mental hump of just pulling the camera out and filming because I think I don't want to be just that person. I don't know. It makes me weird. Also, what else is coming to the channel? There's something else I'm forgetting. I don't remember, but tons of great content's coming. I have the entire month of January booked. If you want to get on, please hit me up soon because, like I said, it is filling up quick, and I'd love to talk to more people. That's gonna do it for episode 12. Thank you all so much. Like I said, for an amazing 2022. Starting over, it's been crazy, but the fact that we almost hit 400 subscribers in a 3 month window is all because of your all support. And if you just found this channel, stick with me, man. I have a lot of cool things. Follow me on all social media, Anthony Blackwell Jr. Links are below. We have an amazing Discord that you can join. I think we're close to 100 people in the Discord, and that's just a place we do video chats, we do live conferences, we do a lot of cool things in there. We don't just talk wrestling; everything's good to go. There's a lot of fun stuff, man. I want to build a community, just of people of like-minded people who are going to support one another. So let's keep bringing that positivity out. But without further ado, we're going to play some outro music by my boy Billy Trey, the Converse Kid. We'll see you guys next year on the ABJ podcast. I love you all.